Super League fans, this is Mike and this is the Scrutineer show. If you didn't catch the Super League show, which was last week, go back, watch it. Brilliant, it links in really well with this. Previews all the drivers and all the teams. You'll get to see Jake, Ben and Casper doing great things over there, and that'll be on again next week as well. In the meantime though, let's get down to some more technical details once again at Super League, because what's been happening, we've had cars on track once again. So we've now been, since my last on, we've now had 2 tests. On those tests, Mr. Van Lopez once again topped them. He's loving his hot laps and loving topping the timesheets. Absolutely pointless at this stage, but does potentially show that he could be up there. On the other hand though, what did we learn last time? We learned that laps and kilometres count. So on the second test, all the teams managed to get the maximum amount like they did in the first, so that's absolutely brilliant. So that means all the teams have got as many R&D points as they could possibly have at this stage. However, we just had a test last week, and that one though, we did see a couple of teams slip a few points. Nothing massive at this stage, but to some of these teams this will really matter later down the line. We saw Walters Engineering with one of their drivers only doing about half the laps, so that's a few points lost there. Did save them a little bit in fuel though, money-wise. And then Madcape, our new team as well, they also struggled in 2 of their drivers didn't hit their lap counts, but they did have 3 cars on track, so they didn't completely lose out, but they have lost out points compared to the others, and that could be some ground later down the line, especially Madcape, because being a new team, they haven't got any R&D points carried over from last year. So what's new going on? We have also the actual R&D points have started to be used, so we've now had the development open. That opened on Valentine's Day. No particular reason why, but that's when they opened. And it takes at least 20 days for any development to be able to be ready, and they have to be ready by the Friday before the race. So you may not know, that doesn't quite work out for race 1. So when we hit Australia at the start of March, that means actually that we'll have no developments on the car at all, so we'll have equal cars. We'll get to know on that race exactly who is the best driver out there. Regardless of teams, granted they're set up, but regardless of teams and cars, it's equal cars for 1 round. Come the second round, everyone's got these developments that they have now placed orders for already. As we discussed last time, there's certain areas they can develop. We don't know what they're developing at this stage. We will find out the Saturday before the race. So I'll be able to tell you, because we're coming to you as the Scrutineer the day before the race, be able to tell you exactly what's going on, exactly the developments that all the teams have put on the cars, so that when you're watching that Super League race, on the edge of your seat on the Thursday, you can really know exactly what's going on, why potential little things are happening, and what might be coming up. You might be able to think and predict a little bit. Towards the end of the season you can. So all teams have put at least, well, I'm assuming that all teams have been organised and put 2 developments in already, and you can do a 3rd one on the pit team as well. That doesn't count towards your 2. So most teams, I imagine, at this stage will be doing 3 developments. What they'll be yet, we don't quite know. We don't know the routes that people will want to go. The engine manufacturers will also have placed 1 development each. That could across the 3 areas. So it depends on what they want to pick. But we'll know soon. Well, in a few weeks' time, we will know exactly which route they've decided to pick, and we'll be able to discuss that in detail and really look at it. In the meantime, we've also got a little treat for you. So we wanted to talk through the mod itself. You know, ultimately, we're going through all the background details here and what happens and what builds the car. We haven't actually spoken about the car itself, and this year is an absolute beauty. Whereas some other leagues have gone off into different areas and decided to go backwards slightly with their cars and picked a mod based around an era bygone, GPVWC has decided with their Super League to make it as real as it gets. They're trying to make it more 2017 F1 rules style. So the look of the car, it just looks beautiful, to be honest. You know, we've got the fat wide back tyres, we've got a low back wing. They've got all the, it's just smooth and beautiful curves. So if you haven't seen any of the cars yet, there's a few out there that have been released with the liveries on. Do have a look at some testing liveries as well. But how does that actually drive? It might look beautiful. We've all seen lovely cars out there, but they drive like dogs. This, on the other hand, actually, I'm hearing great things from drivers all around the grid. Everyone's loving it. So I thought, I'm not a driver. I've tried. Some of you may have seen me fail miserably. But I'm not a driver. I may know this technical side of stuff quite well, but actually driving is not my specialty. But I do know some good drivers. So I thought, right, let's have a look at this mod. What can we go through? And I thought, well, there's only really one person we can talk to who really can tell me the difference between last year and this year's cars. And I thought, well, let's go and find the champ. Let's go and see Mr. David Fidock. So, brought you Mr. David Fidock to show you through just a few of the bits and pieces to do with this car and this mod, and exactly what has changed from last year. Enjoy.
Thanks, Mike. First, let me start off by saying well done to Chris Williamson on making such a fantastic mod, and to all the testing team for all their hard work. So obviously I can only say about my own personal experiences from the mod that I've done through pre-season testing so far. Now most of the changes this year are cosmetic. There are some fine changes to the mod itself which makes it a whole lot more drivable this year. But obviously the biggest change this year comes from the tyres, and this is where races and the championship itself is going to be won or lost. Let's start with the construction. Now it's easy to spot these tyres are a lot wider, which already changes how drivers approach each race. I've had to change my driving style slightly to adapt to these tyres. I'm not sure if it's going to be the same up and down the grid, but yeah, I can only talk about my own experience. Braking itself is completely different. The braking zones are a lot shorter and will go a lot deeper into the turn. Take Barcelona for example. We arrive at the turn at 190 miles per hour plus, and we are braking around the 50 metre mark. Now that already is going to change how people set up their car, even just to overtake, as the braking zones are a lot shorter, and overtaking is going to be a lot harder as well. Into the corner itself, we've already braked that lot later, and we're getting off the brake pedal a lot earlier, which means we're carrying so much more speed through the turn. This is going to have an effect on the tyres, the wear, the heat, and how we approach the entry and exits to the turns in order to get the ultimate lap time. But for me, the hardest part for me getting used to is the power out of turns. For many years now, switching from R Factor 1 and to R Factor 2, we've all been used to feathering in the throttle, taking our time, making sure we don't lose the back end, especially out of the last corner for Barcelona, that final chicane. We are feathering in the throttle, making sure we get the perfect run for that long straight. Whereas now we exit the final chicane, make sure the car's settled after we hit those at the apex of the final corner, and then it's just full throttle. And I guess it's going to be like that for everyone. So that again is going to make the grid a lot closer. With the lap times and exit of turns again is going to make overtaking harder. So something else we need to deal with this year is what tyres we have to bring to each race. We've got Australia coming up, the start of the season. Do we go for glory? Pick the ultra softs, make sure we get pole position, but then you're going to have the race destroyed very quickly because the drop off is so great. You're going to be thinking of pitting before lap 10. Some people even lap 8. People not so good on tyres will even be thinking lap 5, because the drop off is so quick. Or you can play conservative, maybe bring the soft or even the medium tyres. Yep, you'll be going to qualify a few rows back. Stuck in traffic? Maybe, yeah. But the tyres will pick up and they're more race focused, so they'll speed up more quickly than the ultra softs, and you'll end up overtaking and making your way through the pack, especially if the ultra soft runners are thinking of pitting as early as lap 10. So you're looking more comfortable for the win. There's a lot out there to think about. For myself, I'm loving the new mod. I'm able to attack a lot more than I did last year. Race stints are a lot more comfortable, more consistent, and I can only see these changes making the racing a lot more closer and a lot more fun. And I can't wait to give it a whirl in Australia and see how it all turns out.
Yes, and thank you, David. Can't get much better than that, can you? Two-time world champion telling us all about the car for this year. Fantastic. Thank you very much for your help there. Let's just reiterate a few things there, particularly about tyres. So it's something else we're going to have to pick up before the start of the season. But each driver and the team picks them for them needs to pick 3 tyre compounds. They can pick any 3 at all, and of those 3, which they have to decide a week before the race, same like they do with engines, they then have to use 2 of those compounds during the race. So that could be the real difference, because some of these tyres, as David was saying, are very, very different, and you could pick a tyre to go into very fast qualifying on the ultra soft, but then they fall off very quickly and you have to do an awful lot of stops because you haven't got any hard tyres. Some teams will pick, if you're starting near the back anyway, you might pick the hard tyres and go long stints. So it'd be really interesting to see, and we might really get a bit of an idea of what people want to do based on what they pick. It'd be interesting to see if lots of teams go the same route, or if the other one goes differently, or if everyone picks completely different routes. It's going to be really, really interesting to see, but that's all to come in the Scrutineer in the next few weeks. Before the season starts and during the season, we're here all throughout the season, the day before the races, telling you everything that's going on, all the changes and updates to the mods, so that you can really enjoy that Super League race. That's Scrutineer for this week. We have got a Super League show again coming up. We've also got Josh Anson's Access. That's a nice tongue twister. At the end of the month as well, as long as Tom Parker back on Monday, doing a great interview there that I know you'll all want to watch as well. And a few exciting projects on the horizon as well. So keep tuning in, keep subscribing, keep sharing the vids. I hope you're enjoying them. It's been great, and thanks again once again to David and to everyone else helping out with these videos. I've been Mike the Scrutineer for SimNews.TV, and I shall join you in a couple of weeks. Bye.